Welcome friends. So today we will learn about peripheral nervous system. All of us know that our nervous system is mainly divided into two parts, that is central nervous system and peripheral nervous system, CNS and PNS. Central nervous system includes brain plus our spinal cord, whereas peripheral nervous system includes all the nerves that are coming out from brain and spinal cord. These nerves goes and get connected to other parts of body like our organs, skin and limbs. Because of these connections, our central nervous system is able to communicate with other parts of body. So the foremost function of peripheral nervous system is to connect central nervous system with the rest of the body part. Apart from information and connection, peripheral nervous system also regulates our involuntary body functions. Like heartbeat, digestion, breathing. So all this involuntary activity is also controlled by our peripheral nervous system. So this is the basic idea about nervous system. Peripheral nervous system itself is divided into two types. PNS is divided into two types: somatic nervous system and autonomic nervous system. Peripheral nervous system divided into two types: somatic and autonomic nervous system. Somatic nervous system is mainly concerned with transferring sensory information as well as for our voluntary movements. So sensory informations and voluntary movements. Whereas autonomic nervous system controls all the involuntary actions, controls all involuntary actions of body. So this voluntary movement and sensory information, these two things can be done by two different types of neurons. It involves two different types of neurons. So those two neurons are sensory neurons and motor neurons. Sensory neurons are also called as efferent neurons, and these are called as motor neurons are also called efferent neurons. Sensory neurons passes information from our sense organ to the main central nervous system, and motor neurons passes information from central nervous system to the effectors. From sensory neurons from our sense organs to central nervous system, and motor neurons involved in passing impulse from central nervous system to effector, that is our muscles or glands. So somatic nervous system is further consists of two different sets of nerves. So what are those nerves? Let's see those nerves. sets of nerves. First is cranial nerve. Second is spinal nerves. So the name itself indicates the nerves that are coming out from brain region are called cranial nerves, and the nerves that are emerges from spinal cord are spinal nerves. Cranial nerves coming from brain and spinal nerves from spinal cord. In cranial nerves, there are 12 pairs of cranial nerves. 12 pairs of cranial nerves and 31 pairs of spinal nerves. These 12 pairs of cranial nerves are further divided into three types of category, that is sensory nerves, motor nerves and mixed nerves. Sensory nerves that are involved in our senses, and motor nerves which controls our muscle movements. Mixed, which carry out function of both sensory and motor, are called mixed nerves. Okay, so let's see these 12 pairs of cranial nerves. Okay, I have written all these cranial nerves in the form of a flowchart, starting from their name, type and function. So cranial nerves are always denoted in Roman numbers only. Starting from the first nerve, that is olfactory, optic, oculomotor, trilocular, trigeminal, abducen, facial, vestibulocochlear, glossopharyngeal, vagus, accessory and hypoglossal. So corresponding to the types, like olfactory is sensory nerves, function is smelling, optic is sensory, vision, like that. Oculomotor, a motor nerve, movement of most eye movements. And facial is both mean mixed, both sensory and motor is both, facial expression and taste. So out of these 12 cranial nerves, 3 are sensory nerves and 4 are motor nerves, 4 are both mixed nerves, 4 are mixed nerves and 5 are motor nerves. And out of these 12 cranial nerves, first and second comes from cerebrum of the brain. These two comes from cerebrum of the brain, that is olfactory and optic, and remaining 10 emerges from brainstem of the brain, cerebrum of the brain, and remaining all these 10 comes from brainstem. Now let's move on to the spinal nerves. Okay, imagine this is spinal cord. Okay, so the spinal nerves are named and grouped according to the vertebrae with which they are associated. Like the spinal nerve coming from the neck region or the cervical region is the cervical spinal nerve. Cervical spinal nerve. Likewise, the nerves coming from the thoracic region, thoracic spinal nerve, from lumbar region, sacral region and coccygeal. So, thoracic spinal nerve, lumbar spinal nerve, sacral spinal nerve and coccygeal spinal nerve. Okay, so there are 8 pairs of cervical spinal nerves, 12 pairs of thoracic, 5 pairs of lumbar, 5 pairs of sacral, and 1 pair of coccygeal spinal nerve. Okay. Some of these spinal nerves further goes and they combine each other. They form a group. That group we call it as plexus. What is plexus? Some out of these 31 pairs of spinal nerves, some of spinal nerves are going to form groups. That group we call it as plexus. So likewise they will form 5 groups, 5 plexus. Cervical plexus, brachial plexus, lumbar plexus, sacral plexus, and coccygeal plexus. I hope you guys have got some basic idea regarding peripheral nervous system. In the next video we will see autonomic nervous system. Thank you.